this online system. This is going to be a learning experience for all of us because I have not used this before. I've been on it. I know there are many of you who have been on it because when we were setting up the workflows the other day, there were several people who have logged into the kiosk. Thank you for that because you all have passwords and you know what they are. This is going to be something new that if you have not been on the kiosk before, I will have to reset your password for you. So there's going to be some little bumps and bruises along the way, but we'll get through it. And Hope is here. She's going to learn how to do that as well, and we're going to have her set up, which we probably need to make sure she does, that she can change passwords as well. I think we did that the other day. This is basically going to be if you are logging in and you are signing off for sick leave. You still need to notify your building administrator or your supervisor that you are going to be off. In your case, they should be telling you this at your staff day meetings when they have your building meetings with you. But we are going to start the process with sick leave being approved by your direct supervisor. Any other leaves will have to go to your direct supervisor and then they will go on to superintendent as those forms have done in the past. There are going to be some restrictions as far as personal leave goes. The way that the contract was negotiated, personal leave, there is only one person out per classification on personal leave, except for transportation department as a whole can have 2. Correct? I think I'm saying that right. Yes. So without further ado, we'll get you through this. We're going to show you kind of step by step how to go. Rob is doing a video of this, and we will post that online. So if any of you forget and need a refresher, you'll be able to access that and go from there. Bless you. And you'll be able to access that and look at it as well. Thank you to the administrative assistants who are here because they are also going to be able to help you along the way. Rita will be able to help you. Shelley will be able to help you. So there's a bunch of people getting trained and we will hopefully all be able to work through this process together. So I have Nancy Clark from NOACA. She is the Fiscal Services Specialist. Did I screw that up? Close enough. She is the god for our office. We love Nancy. She helps us get through all of the things. Goddess. Thank you, Don. But she gets us through all of our hard knocks and bumps and everything that we face along the way in our office. So I'm going to turn it over to Nancy, and I'm going to go navigate for her. And she's going to fill you in on how to do this. So if you have questions, do you want questions as we go? Is that easier? Okay.
Okay, they put a link on the Edison webpage. If you go to the staff, and then you'll see there's an employee kiosk link right there to get to the employee kiosk. Some of you, when we were looking at this the other day, some of you already have accounts, and if you don't remember your password, there is there's a reset option which will send you an email with a temporary password. And if you still have trouble logging in, then contact Ann or Hope, or they can reset your password and give you a new one. If you do not have an account, there is a first-time user right above the reset. That if you click on there, it asks for a little bit of information. Yeah, go ahead and click on it. Your county, which is going to be Erie, and then it don't have Edison there. You choose that. Then you need you probably don't know your employee ID because that's kind of a payroll thing, but you can put in your social security number and then your email address, which is what your direct deposit notice comes to. So if you're using the schools, you have to use the schools, or if you're using your home email, you have to use that. So, and then it will send you a temporary password, and then use that to log in, and then you'll set a permanent one. The nice thing about this is the password never expires. So once you set it, you're good to go. So go back to log in at the top right. Okay, now you can log in. Okay, so when you log in, it's going to come up with your employee profile, which just gives a little bit like your home address and that information. There's choices along the left side. So the profile is what you're seeing. If you go to position details, it's going to show you your job and your contract information. So you can take a look at that. You're not going to have that performance review thing. See the same one. You can look at your past pay slips by clicking on that. You would, if you click on that, then you would have to do like. So you would put in a time period and click on load pay slips, and then you can see your pay slips, and you just click on view, and you can look at past pay slips there. So, and you can print them if you wish. Under leave balances, you can see what your total available sick leave is, and if you have vacation or personal leave. And then on the right side, it shows leave that you have taken, or it shows the accumulation on a monthly basis as you, each month you get an addition to your sick leave. Yes?
Comp won't show up in there.
No,
No. Comp time does not show here.
no, comp time will be done separately as you've been doing it. And then you'll get the slip.
You can view your W-2s by clicking on the View Print W-2. I'm not sure we have last year's in there. I can't get them in there because you weren't using the kiosk. I might not have put them in there, but from now on, you would see your W-2s and you can print them if you needed an extra copy or something. Okay, so then what you're here for is your leave request. So you would go there and create a new request. And you have to pick the leave type. So it gives you your choices of what you have available. So say you're going to do sick leave. You're not going to have the subcategory, I don't think.
No.
Okay. So, and you might not have to put in a reason, I can't remember, I don't think you would put that specified, but in my test data, you're gonna have to put in something,
Okay.
something in there. Okay. Then you put in the date. If it's over more than one day, you put in your starting date and ending date, Monday through Friday or whatever, but if it's one day, then you're gonna put in the same date for both the start and end. It gives you a warning, excuse me, if it's a date that is in the past. And
Will
then
it still let you enter?
it will still let you enter if it's in the past. Then you have your start and end time. And you can just pick off of there. And then the important thing is the leave requested in hours that is right under the start and end time. So that is the number of hours that you were absent total.
So if you're absent, if you're a 6-hour employee and you're absent for 4 hours, or if you're a 6-hour employee and you're absent for 3 hours, that's where you're gonna put in the 3 hours. If you are a 4.5-hour person, you're gonna put in 2.25 as if you're taking a half a day, or 4.5, whatever your day is. I'm in the wrong place, yeah. So if somebody works 7:50 to 2:50, that would be a 7-hour day, but they would have a half hour for lunch that was unpaid. So in the requested leave hours, it's 6.5.
Next question. It's set up their calamity, so we gotta do this on snow days?
No.
Oh,
If you won't have a calamity option, this is just test data,
This
so.
is
Oh,
a test
yeah.
account, yeah.
Yeah, you'll just have sick, vacation, personal, and other
Lead time is,
injury.
their lead time has to be within 30, they have 30 minutes, or is it 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
I have to look at the contract, Shelley, do you know?
It's 30.
Lead time,
Lead time.
Is it
It's
half
in
hour?
Half hour intervals, isn't it?
hours,
Is it
hour
hours?
increments, yeah. So if you are out for, and I can't remember what that was, everybody's different, so I can't remember this, yeah, that's okay, okay. Yes, so sick leave is taken in hour increments. So if you are gone for 3.5, you're gonna need to put in 4. Is how that's gonna work, so you have to put in the right amount. If you forget, Cindy is most likely going to, well, Cindy will round it up in payroll. So if it shows up on our report as 3.5 hours, she's gonna put it to 4 for your sick leave. Did that answer your question, Lisa? Okay. I saw your hand go up.
There is a place to put in a phone number. You don't have to if you don't want to, and then if you have comments that you want to give to the supervisor, whatever, you can type those in if you wish. You don't have to. And then all you gotta do is scroll up and hit the submit button at the top. It's requiring my test data. You'll have to put in 4 or something without the 0.5.
Okay.
Right here.
You've got 2:50 a.m. instead of.
Oh.
So it checks things. So
Yeah.
okay, then, there we go.
Are we gonna be able to put in the 6.5 if you're off the whole day?
We may have to.
Because we got,
Yeah, we may have to change that in our workflow, because yes, it's
Right.
just like now, if you're off for a whole day, it's
Right.
not like if you're 6.5 hour, we charge you
Right,
for 7.
right.
We're only charging
Right.
you for what that day is.
Yeah, I
If
didn't
you're
know
taking
if
anything
we were gonna
less
be able
than a
to
full
select it,
day,
no.
yeah. So, like I said, there's gonna be some hiccups along the way that we're gonna have to test through and make sure we have our workflows proper.
So what it does is immediately sends you an email to tell you that your request has been entered. And then once it has been approved fully, you'll get another email telling you that it has been approved. You can also double check on, if you go back to leave request and look at requests in process, it would show you any leave and where it is in the process. If it's stuck, you can go bug somebody to approve it, but it does let you double check. Or if you need to modify it, I think you can, if it hasn't been fully approved, you can go in here and click on the details and modify it. Like, well, cancel it, so. Then also under leave request, you can look at your ones that have been fully approved by all processed, and those, and I don't have any recently, I can look back and like 2016.
That's fine. Okay.
So you can see past leave requests.
excuse me,
Yep.
if I use the school email, am I automatically on this kiosk card, or I have to sign up with this card separately?
Right, you still have to register, even if you're using the school
Email, I still have to register for the kiosk card, and it will still be my same password that I use for my email?
No, if you're a first-time user, it's gonna be a separate, you're gonna set up a new password for this.
Okay.
So, but remember, wherever your direct deposit notice is going is the email you wanna use.
Right,
So that's where you're
but I
at.
don't automatically use that.
No, so if
password.
you've never been on this, you're gonna click on first-time user
Okay.
and register, what, say register? First-time
So I
user,
have to do it from the
register.
beginning, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What if you remember if you've been on there?
If I tell you you've already got an account. So you could, what you could do, if you don't remember, do the reset password, and if you get a temporary password in the email, you'll know if you got an account. If you don't,
Then you gotta go first-time user.
back on the leave request, you can set default beginning and ending times, because if you don't, I think it's to like 12 a.m. So there's a set leave starting and ending time preferences. And so you can put in your normal start and end times for your workday, and then every request that you do automatically comes up with those times, and you can adjust them depending on that leave request, but if you're taking the whole day, then you won't be having to put in your times.
So when you're, so I work 8.5 hours, but half an hour of that is lunch. So for, if I wanted to set up like a default time, 6 to, would I just put 6 to 2 as the default times? Or would I put 6 to 2:30, but then only have to put 8 hours total time when that spot comes up? Is that what I would do?
Yes, yeah, I would put your
Instead of pull off that
6 to,
extra half an hour, she'll never charge you that 8.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna like make me put it up to 9 or something?
No.
no,
But, okay.
yeah, I would put your normal beginning and ending, even
Fine.
including.
Yep,
But then when you get to that spot where I ask number of hours, you just put 8.
8, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for audit purposes, like when the auditors come in, and especially if we're gonna do away with time cards this year, doing away with the time cards is, the auditors are gonna wanna know what your set hours are, so we're gonna have to provide them with a list of those hours so that this will match. We wanna make sure that matches, but as Hope said, we're not gonna charge any more than what your hours worked are. We know who has half-hour lunch and who doesn't, and
And when does that start with the time cards?
now,
Oh, so like I myself don't need to fill it out anymore unless I'm
No.
accruing overtime or something?
correct. Or if you're using comp time or
And then I would
something
just
along
turn
those
it in
lines.
with that one day of, like say I just have one day in that 2-week period of overtime, I would just turn it in with that one day filled out.
Correct,
Okay.
yep.
Who's doing all of this? Who's putting it in every day?
You guys are. Your absences?
No, your attendance.
It automatically,
It's automatically
Yeah.
saying you worked all the whole.
yeah, the system's
Yeah.
gonna assume that you were there your, contracted days unless an absence is put in.
Yes.
If you're requesting a person
or
day, you
extra.
request that on there instead of,
You're still gonna do it there, but as I said, your building principals, I know Davey still wants, and Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, but Davey still wants a copy, what? What, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Shelley wants to know, do you still, like, okay, I will throw this out there. What Davey's gonna do is he wants that triple sheet that you're currently filling out for absences. He just wants a one-page of that copied, and Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, and given to him. Would you like the same type of thing for yours? So that you know. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a building preference, because those principals need to decide how they're going to cover you, what they're going to cover. And I know that's not applying to pretty much anybody in this room at this point. So you guys just need to deal with your supervisors, because all the aides are gone. But we'll deal with that tomorrow.
Yes, now what happens if they put in a sick leave because they're gonna take their child to the orthodontist and the appointment's canceled? Is there a way for them to do anything from Kiosk, or do they need to notify us or their supervisor,
Can they go back
or,
and cancel?
Yeah, you can go back and cancel. If it's already been fully approved, then you have to submit a new request with like a negative amount for the same time frame.
the employee does?
Okay, because I saw one on that test account that was a negative too,
Yeah.
so they must have come back early or something. Okay. All right. And we'll work through that. If something happens, and that situation happens and it's already been fully approved, I would guess that it's probably not going to be fully approved until after the end of that day. They're not going to probably go in and approve it that day. It's probably going to get approved, I don't know. A little, like I said, there's going to be some bumps and bruises, and there's going to be some learning curves along the way.
There's also, you see leave calendars. If you click on that, you kind of just get a visual, just do the top one, Mike. A visual of when you have taken leave. And the colors, notice it said there was a red, so those have not been approved yet. Once they're approved, they turn green. And then once they've been imported into the payroll system, they're black.
So these have not been put into payroll yet.
Right. Right, so the leave you put in here is not going to affect your balances right away. Okay, so you have to be careful when you're looking at your leave balances to make sure that all your leave, all on here is turned black, because otherwise it's not hitting your total leave balance yet.
I'll make a notice when I'm ready to do this. Create a different request. But it shows, absence here state is 13 hours. That's how many we've taken. Somewhere in there, what the leave balance is. Correct.
For when you put in the payroll, then it shows.
Then it shows, okay, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was not in there. So that's your leave request. Create a leave request. Okay. So this is okay.
Yeah, once you pick your type of leave request, it shows you your balance.
Right here. So you know how much time you have.
There is documentation on this at the top. If you click on there, you will go to another website. You have to scroll down, and you want to go to going down, there it is, Employee Kiosk Staff Manual. That's the one you would want to look at, and it explains everything. How to put in leave, how to look at things, and you can,
It's actually not that bad.
it's
It's got lots of pictures.
lots of pictures and arrows and all kinds of things, so it shows you how to enter everything.
I would ask Rita and Shelley, since you're in here, or any of the administrative assistants, if you have any questions, concerns, or anything that you want to let your staff that's here right now know in regards to this and how it's gonna, or if you want to just do that on your own, that's fine too.
Sorry.
That's okay, anything? Oh, yes, okay. Anybody have questions? I'm sure you all have kind of questions, but once you get in and kind of play with it and get familiar with it,
I
Judy?
can call off if you don't have a computer. I do a dinosaur.
That,
You're the last of the dinosaurs.
I agree, that's.
yeah, you're gonna have to call or text
I'm
or
gonna have to
whatever,
buy a
you're,
computer for this.
yeah, yeah.
And pay for.
Well, it works on
Yeah, I agree.
smartphones.
I'm at home sick, oh my
She's
goodness.
got a good puppy.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, she does have a
Okay.
good puppy, yeah.
All right. Okay, Judy's the exception to the rule.
She always is.
Yeah, yeah, and you could fill it in the next day when you come in and use one of the
I mean, you
computers.
still call Don our baby, but it's going in.
Shelley?
That's an important thing, they have to remember, they still have to notify their supervisor
Right.
verbally. You're not
Yes.
just sitting at home saying, I'm
No.
gonna get it off.
No, you still have to inform your supervisor that you are gonna be off. This is basically only replacing the triplicate paper that you're currently filling out. Everything else of the process is the same. If you are supposed to call your supervisor and let them know, or whatever your process currently is with notifying them, it's still the same. This is just replacing that triplicate paper. That's what we're doing. We're trying to eliminate the paper shuffle. Donna?
Just a question, and maybe you already explained it. On the time card then, if they're sick a day, do they fill out a time card and turn that in? Or is that only for like extra time that they work, the time card?
The time cards should really only be for extra time, but that's something that we'll probably kind of work through with Cindy to make sure that as we're running the reports that go with this, that we're making sure everybody's accounted for as well. So that will kind of have to work between all of us, trying to figure out who's, because I know you do the sick leave at the elementary, so we'll have to kind of work through that. Rita?
Some of my staff, because they drive for other schools, if they're not, if we're in school and their school's not in, they've got to put it on the payroll so that they know that that was not a work day. Because when they work on
Correct.
the opposite, that's extra pay. So I've told them that needs to go on the pay sheet.
Yes.
That's the only way you guys are going to know. Because
Yeah,
that they're
it's
gonna get
extra.
counted for it.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, are you gonna be able to print a report from administrative assistants or principals to reconcile?
Okay.
So maybe I get a report to use to reconcile against your pay sheets for that pay period, so you know for sure that everybody marked in their hours in the kiosk system. It's like,
Just forget the kiosk, you don't turn to the time card.
and if the administrative assistants is normally
You guys keep
reconcile
a
that, don't you?
list. Don't you keep a list of people who are out during the day? Kristen, do you guys?
Or does Jeff, or does he only go off of the?
Yeah, you're gonna know who's missing.
Oh, absolutely.
So if we
Don't
can
track.
do a report, she's gonna check to see if the administrators can print a report that we can kind of
It's just
reconcile
one of those
that.
questions I know you guys are gonna ask me.
No, absolutely.
Right.
When I'm explaining this to them.
I would rather have the questions now when we have the knowledge here to answer them than to have to check back, so.
Do you still need the, absence report and the substitute report?
I would say yes, that will be a cross-reference for us, and it will be good for the audit stream. Okay.
Does FMLA leave on here as well, or no?
Not one that we put in there. There's sick leave. It would just go as sick leave, and then in the comments, the reasons I would put FMLA.
But there's other paperwork that goes with that.
Yeah, there's a whole,
So,
FMLA is a whole
if it's
different
on that,
beast.
you're gonna know long before that.
Yeah. Any other questions? These are great questions. Like I said, I'd rather have them now when we can get the right answers. Anybody else? Well, everybody try to log on. See if you have one. Like she said, try to reset your password if you're not sure. If you don't get anything, then go in and register as a first-time user. Lisa, I know you've been in there
Because that's the only way I get my paycheck.
yourself.
I was gonna say, is it
But I
right?
don't, it comes through my phone, it comes through my email.
But
But
can't read it.
it says to, when I go to click on it to pull it up, it won't pull it up on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only way I do, so yeah, I go in there, that's.
But it's pretty easy to
Yeah,
maneuver
it's very
around.
easy, yeah.
It's it's very self-explanatory.
And this should alleviate some of the calls to Cindy that, I didn't get an email with my direct deposit notice in it. Go into here and look for your pay slip. It's gonna show up in here because she can't recreate that.
No.
So, before you call, just check here first.
The other thing that this kiosk is good for is a lot of times people will go to get refinancing at the bank and they need copies of their last, 2 months worth of pay stubs or whatever. You can go in here, pull those up, print those off. You don't have to go back through if you need to take something to your bank. Also, your W-2s, if you lose your W-2, you reprint it from here. We don't have those in our office to do, so.
How long does this usually, like if you're not wanting to print things off?
We haven't taken anything off yet.
Will you still send out W-2s?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We have a lot of people that lose them because they don't get their taxes done for like 2 months and they put it somewhere and don't remember where they put it and they. No. But, yeah, so we get a lot of those calls in our office of people going, I need my W-2 again. And we send them here to print it off, so.
What's the original website you start at for this?
You can go to the school website. If you go to the edisonchargers.org.
Okay.
And then, I'm gonna start it from the scratch, and you go over to staff, click on staff, and employee kiosk is one of the links.
Okay.
They'll take you right there. Okay? Any other questions? All right. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Nancy.